drive ads from Amazon to a product ad, but then eventually they just made it service, right? You could only drive external traffic for service. Were you around when they made that change?
So the guy who ran sales for it, I shared an office with. So he basically went from a job to no job because there used to be this, you could actually have a detail page on Amazon. The buy box would show up just like you see it now. And then it would actually be a click this thing to go off Amazon to see this product on someone else's webpage. And I think at the time, their whole idea was this is a way for us to have listings on Amazon that we don't currently support, like categories that weren't open yet or autos. And then the door kind of opened and it became everything. And so there was a time when you had categories full of third-party product, but then you had also product ads mixed in, and it was just started to be kind of a mishmash, even more than it is today. And then they basically just at one point, I remember in the meeting, they were just like, this is stupid, stop it now. And then they decided to bring it back for services, home services. And I think you see it now. I think I saw something about how they're going to be opening this up for cars and maybe a few other categories that Amazon has traditionally never played in. So I feel like this is kind of the thumbprint of Jassy. Wait, why do we do it like this? And it's, probably the guys there are like, well, I don't know, we've always done it like this. And he's like, well, think again.
Bezos isn't in the room, so he's the head. He's the grand poobah now, so he says, let's rethink things. It's interesting. In the DSP world, the demand side, not the delivery service provider, but the demand side platform, that ad space is getting really interesting, and they're doing non-endemic ads through the DSP platform. Hearing some rumors about Buy with Prime being able to do more aggressive advertising with Amazon traffic onto DTC websites. So this whole thing is very fascinating to me because I hate to beat a dead horse, but I want to go back to the product ads. I had in my head your comment about they launched this to add selection is very interesting to me. And this is why I love talking to you, James. My head immediately went to, it was a revenue driver for them, and there must not have been enough revenue to drive. If I look at the ad revenue that they're doing right now, $9 billion last quarter, I'm like, how did they miss that was a huge revenue opportunity to drive Amazon traffic to DTC websites? Did you ever see that revenue number on the product ads? Was it minuscule? Was it not not even part of the discussion?
It was pretty small. And I think when the time came for that conversation, it wasn't a long conversation. If there was a conversation about shutting off billions of dollars, it would have been a tough one, right? But if there was a conversation about shutting off, tens of millions, that tended to be a pretty easy one because it was like, this is never going to move the needle. And there's all these other question marks. So just stop and think of something better. And that was literally the birthplace of sponsored products.
I love that story. I'd totally forgotten about product ads, but I remember we used to run them. And by the way, they weren't very effective. I don't remember it driving a lot of sales to my website.
And I think, totally. And I think that, at the end of the day, Amazon's a lot of things, but they're, I think, a very rational actor, right? They take a lot of twists and turns, but they eventually follow the physics of business and good business sense, right? So, was this stuff driving a lot of customer clicks and satisfaction? Was it driving a lot of revenue, which is just another proxy for customer satisfaction? Was it, were advertisers clamoring for it because it was so good? Like, no, not really. So, it didn't ever feel like this. We got a clear winner. It always felt like kind of I don't know, should we, shouldn't we? Maybe, maybe not. And then you had these clear winners. My job at that time was bringing new selection on Amazon, and we were bringing hundreds of millions of new ASINs a year. And the problem was that I think, less than 1% of those ever got a glance view in their first 12 months. And so there was this huge, how do we get new selection surfaced to customers? And then the idea was like, well, what if you could pay for clicks to guarantee some traffic? And then that was like, oh, this would be great. Like any seller would, pay hundreds of dollars to, not wait 12 months for something to get views on accident, but get them day one.
I'm still pissed at you for that algorithm change, by the way, James, because I was a big seller and we had like this enormous moat when a new seller couldn't come in and take any of our space. And it was you, sir, are what allowed those new sellers to come in with that honeymoon period. Actually, I love it now as we work with
sorry.
Apology.
I was saying, as you work with new brands, this is your secret sauce for being an agency. So,
I love it now.
It giveth and it taketh away.
I love it now.